Hey folks, Species7 here. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Survival Mode in Space Engineers. So, kind of a funny thing happened on my way to the spaceship. Yeah, last time just seconds after I shut off the recording and I finished up a little bit of mining, I went back to the ship, went to throw my ore in the refinery and discovered, well, the refinery was gone. The refinery was gone, the reactor was gone, in fact the entire rear quarter of my ship had been completely obliterated by asteroids. So, unfortunately, in this scenario with no reactor and no refinery, you're pretty much game over. So guess what? I clicked game over and we've started again. I really didn't have a choice. You have absolutely zip. And when I kicked to start again, yeah, I had no idea where the other base was. So we started over. I found this asteroid that's got quite the cave in it. As you can see, there's a long cave. And other than that, there is a whole lot of solid rock between us and the sun, which can basically obliterate us, I think, within about a couple of meters anyway of this sun line here is unsafe territory. So we'll have to keep that in mind. The good thing is this is a reasonably rich asteroid. There have been some things I haven't yet found, but I think we will get to those. I'm finally starting to amass a little bit of steel plate from mining all the iron. I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't park my ship down here. How much space do we actually have? Not a lot, but you know, it might do. Of course, I'd probably end up crushing my ship getting it in here. Oh well. I think what we'll do is just move it forward a little bit. And see how that does. So how's everybody doing? Hope you're all doing well. It's a beautiful spring day here again on the Sunshine Coast, which is lovely. Now, I found the ships tend to be sensitive enough that you probably want to hold auxiliary even when you're scrolling in and out. Now, is that going to be far enough away? Not even close, eh? Come on. I don't want to be too far away by the same token, because I am using the ship's gravity, and it really does help, believe me. How are we doing for height off the ground? We're still almost touching, eh? Yeah, there's not really a whole bunch of extra space here. Should be able to move a little bit this way. Fairly safe. How are we doing for bottom space? Ooh, pretty close, but not bad. Oops. That should do. That should do. So, rather than... It's unfortunate too, I was actually doing reasonably well at getting our little hole in a wall started. However, that's okay. This, I think, is going to turn out to be a little bit easier anyways. So, one thing I am hoping, I noticed, oh, they added... it's a work in progress, it's not 100% functional yet, but they have added in the conveyor system. So that is something we will be taking advantage of on this build. That's kind of nice too, because the way the other one was, my original world was set up, it would have been hard to get the conveyors in there to work. So, and I definitely do want to use them once they're implemented. And say there is sort of a functioning system going on now, but it's not 100%. And they have, again today or this morning when I went to load this up the first time, I noticed they were doing another patch or update or whatever they want to call it. So that's always good. What I really wish they would work on, see, in Creative you can, and this is going on the word of people that have done it because I haven't actually tried Creative, but in Creative you're not limited to, see how close I've got to get there, to being just slightly further away than the size of a block to place a block. And that's why it flashes in and out like that all the time. And it does make block placing considerably more difficult than it really needs to be. I mean, the fact you're dealing with a constantly changing three-dimensional space as as compared to the normal two-dimensional. I didn't quite get the ship level with the platform, pretty close. It kind of makes it a little more awkward to start with, and then when you add this, you know, the fact that you got to be that close to drop a block, it doesn't help. So I'm hoping that's something they'll think about patching up here in the near future. And I don't think we want to go red for the entire one. Oops, there we go. Green. Nah, it's gonna look like Christmas. Well, I do like blue, and I don't think I've used that yet, so. As I said, I'm just finally starting to get some plate together. I was actually, up to this point, concentrating solely on uranium. I spent 4 of the 5 available minutes of flight time I spent 4 of the available minutes of flight time looking for my old base. So by the time I actually got here, I didn't have a lot of time left. How we doing? Getting close? Oof, it's a long way to the ceiling. This is going to be a big base. Cool. Still in gravitational range. I have completely cranked that up, by the way. Since our ship is supplying all of our gravity at the moment. I only have a set at 1/2 G, but as far as diameters, etc., like the radius of it, the depth of it, etc., those are cranked. Because if nothing else, the entire mining process is just so much more simplified when you do have it cranked. Whoa. Looks like we're not going to... Okay. That apparently is about as far as that cares to go in that direction. So... it's still lots of height, mind you. I see. Oh no, that one can stay there, but this is where we're actually trying to go, isn't it? I realize this isn't the most exciting part, guys, but this is basically your gotta have some kind of framework going on, and that's what I gotta work on first, is getting this stuff together. There we go. So, for what it's worth, there's the start of the first wall. This actually, for this part, it would make more sense to build from the base up to the ceiling, so I will do that instead. Because yeah, for the first while, pretty much all you get to do is mining, refining, and building straight steel structures. Of course, never mind having to actually fill all of these in. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of that for a while. But that's where we stand with it. Like I said, it's unfortunate that we ended up losing the other one. Well, I ended up losing the other one. But I figure we can, you know, the idea being survival. You pretty much gotta go with what you can get, and just pretty much didn't make it the first time. Eek. Yeah. All we can do is learn from our lessons of the past and carry on. So yeah, I'm basically just going to enclose all of this. Give you a quick little tour of our asteroid. It's not bad. It has you can see kind of an interesting little cave down here. All the little bits of rock that have settled from my mining efforts. That again goes pretty much both directions, so it sort of mimics the cave above it, which is kind of neat with this little ledge that splits the two. So yeah, we have a reasonably flat section here, then we have the lower cave, which like I said kind of parallels this one, and then we have a sort of stepped flat section here, and a nice high solid roof all the way across to block out those nasty meteorites. So I think this is going to work for us. Again, my apologies for being such a derp that I couldn't get more than about 20 minutes into the last one before I killed myself. That's the way survival goes sometimes. How are we doing here? I'll bet you're just producing like a bugger now, aren't you? Uh-huh. Ooh, we got another 4-something uranium too. We're just getting into the silicon. So we've gone through all of the iron. We have 2.24K. So I have 300 iron waiting for me, so that's lovely. It is. And I am going to want to build some interior plates. So I think I'll get a stack of that up as well. Make it a couple, because it does take a lot of interior plate. Yeah, I still have more than enough to do that. I think it's straight iron, isn't it, interior plate? Sure. We're going to go with that anyway. Yeah, we'll need 300. Okay. And if we go here, let's grab this plate, shall we? Nice. Alright. We will pop this into our reactor. You can see I've been, boom, we have 30. I think that's the most I've ever had, actually. But that should get us through for a while. Keep in mind right now, something that's chewing a lot of energy is this animal. Right, this is our gravity generator. And as you can see, if I've never showed you the inside, normally this is set to about 50 or so, and you'll notice the power increase right here, current input. If I do set these back down to around the 50 level, right, see just the one alone, the width of the field, 199, almost 100 kilowatt difference just on field width. So add that across all of these, and yeah, it gets quite a lot. If I wasn't running on a half a G, I'd be using up almost, well, I'd be using my maximum input, right? And it's sucking a lot of power. I mean, it's one thing that we have the assemblers and the processor running constantly, but that thing, that really runs power. So I have 21 hours, yet I have 30 on the uranium. Now, if I were to shut off the processing system, the assembler and the processor, turn the gravity machine back down to relative, I'd probably have a week worth of energy. So, as soon as I get a little bit of a platform built, I will have to start. Yeah, I haven't really decided, but I think I am going to end up having to strip this ship. I have some of the components I need in this asteroid, but it is rather limited. It only has like 4 or 5 different ores that I've run across. It has gold, silver, silicon, very little silicon, iron, and uranium. I found a tiny bit of platinum, but there are 6 or 7 others that are very important, obviously not for straight structural, which is almost all steel, but very important for some of the other things that we do need to build. Like I say, I have very little silicon, and I'm going to need quite a lot of it. There's just a few things like that. So I'm thinking we are going to have to, unless I plan on leaving this thing cranked at an alarming amount, we are going to have to pretty much start thinking about stripping the ship. That's okay. I will leave all of the working parts intact as long as I can, I guess, and start from there. But, yeah, other than that, as I said, it's just a matter of a whole bunch of welding blocks together for a while, until we can actually get get where we sort of need to be. And we don't want to be in this ship too long, because if you go by concept, I mean, this ship is pretty much shot. I mean, look, I can look right outside at my thrusters. Now, what sort of a spacecraft can you look outside through the cracks in the structure? Answer, a very unsafe, unworthy spacecraft. Yes, indeed. Alright, well, I'm going to continue to work on this structure, guys. When next we meet, I should have at least a little bit of a box here, providing I don't do anything dumb like... well, as long as the med bay is intact on here, I'll actually come back to this ship. When I decided I was going to restart the last time, I didn't come back to the ship because I guess the med bay had taken enough damage as well. Like, literally, this whole section from about here, just in front of the assembler. Now, here's the assembler here, okay? So from just in front of here, all the way across here, this whole part of the ship was gone. So yeah, right up to, just up to this. The gyro was still there, everything else in here was completely gone. So, did not do well, and then like I said, I kind of expected I'd end up popping back up in this ship, but I didn't, so I can only assume, oh, I know why, of course the medical bay wouldn't work, it didn't have to be damaged, the reactor was toast. Without power, the medical bay doesn't work. So there you go. There you are, guys. I think that's going to do it for the moment. Not the most exciting episode, but at this stage, like I said, what I've got to do is get some very, very basic blocks built. When I start actually tearing the machines apart and moving them to the other one, then we'll have something to watch. So, till then, though, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. This has been Species 7. Take care of each other, folks, and stay shiny.